A special question we always do have about Creative Commons is you can choose between non-commercial and commercial licenses. So that's for the start, it's a very good thing. But then there's a question: what means commercial? What means uncommercial? Can you explain it to us? What the debate now is about?
Yeah, it's a very hard question because we begin by taking the internet as we find it. And what I think that means is recognizing there are communities of people who are creating and sharing their creativity, who expect that their creativity will not be exploited commercially, at least without asking permission first. So in Flickrs, there are millions. Last time I looked, it was 15 million images that were licensed under Creative Commons licenses. The vast majority of those, 2/3 of those, are licensed in a non-commercial way, by which the person means, if you're going to take my picture and put it in Time magazine, I want you to contact me and get permission from me and pay me, because that's a commercial use of my work, and I'm just authorizing this non-commercial use. So it's a signal, a way for somebody to say they want to be part of this sharing economy without allowing all their work to be just exploited in any commercial way imaginable. Now, there are a lot of contexts where it's hard to figure out what the line is between commercial and non-commercial. And that's not just because we haven't been careful enough in defining the terms. It's because the actual practices of communities are different. So what it might mean in the music context is different from what it might mean in the video context. It might be different in the picture context or in the blog context. And so as to build upon the norms of these different communities. So we have some guidelines which we're going to be issuing very soon that will set out some pretty clear examples on both sides. So if you take my picture and you sell it, that's easy commercial use. If you take my song and you file share it in a non-commercial context, that's a non-commercial use. So some pretty clear examples on both extremes. And then guidelines for thinking about the cases that are hard in the middle. For example, one of the most contested debates is whether people who are reposting blog entries can put advertisement around the repostings. There are some people who think, absolutely, of course, the future of the net is a future supported by advertising, and if non-commercial means you can't be part of that, you won't be part of the net. There are other people who think quite strongly that any usage of advertising turns it into a commercial process. And we're trying to develop norms to help us separate out these two different communities and make it easy for people to signal the part they want to be a part of. But the critical insight that really guides how we think about this is we're not out there to reform how people think about their relationship to their creativity. We're out there to give them tools to help them express it to others in a reliable and simple way. And then once there's a simple way to express it, then people can begin to argue about it. So if an academic put his work up in a way that said, you can share this for non-commercial purposes, for example, an article published in a journal, I would say to that academic, why should it be for non-commercial purposes? Why not just allow the broadest distribution possible? And so the point is the license now gives me a way to begin to have an argument with somebody about how free the content should be. This argument, that argument about where freedom, how broadly freedom should extend, is the argument that every community of creativity needs to have, not just the software community.